How do you recover quicker from an ultramarathon? When is it useful to run with poles? Are you using a foam roller right? And how do you choose the right running pack for you? Find out in my Q&A series, answering all your trail and ultra running questions. Welcome back to my Q&A series. I'm Claire from Wild Ginger Running, the trail and ultra running advice and inspiration channel. If you're new here, make sure you click the subscribe button, and any books or gear that I mention in my videos you'll find links to in the YouTube film description below. Just click show more or the drop down arrow for details. Just before we start, the more observant amongst you regular viewers might have noticed that I've changed my channel name from Wild Ginger Films to Wild Ginger Running. This is because I discovered in YouTube analytics that this was one of the most common search terms for my channel, and it also just makes it a lot more obvious as to what my content is about. So nothing else has changed, just the end of the name. So let's answer that first question. Alicia Bowman is new to trail running and wants to know how to maximise her recovery after an ultramarathon. Great question, Alicia. I asked sports professor John Brewer, author of Run Smart, and sports nutritionist Anita Bean, author of the Runner's Cookbook, for their best advice. After the race, make sure you don't stop suddenly and get cold. I'm thinking about Britain in the autumn and winter right now, so do adapt this for the climate that you're in. John says keep warm by putting a jacket or a foil blanket on and take 5 to 10 minutes to cool down to get rid of lactic acid quicker and reduce stiffness and sore muscles the following day. So do some very slow jogging or a walk followed by all over body stretching. Keep watching my channel for my best post-ultra stretches film coming soon too. A bit of bonus advice here from Britain's legendary fell runner Joss Naylor. Wade into a lake or a river for a few minutes, only if it's safe to do so of course, to mimic the soothing effects of an ice bath. There's a lot of scientific research both for and against this, but in my experience it definitely helps reduce DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, after an ultra, and it just feels really good on your thigh muscles. Just make sure you don't get your core temperature too low while you're in there, so keep your jacket on. Now get warm and dry and keep moving, stretching your leg muscles at any opportunity throughout the afternoon and the evening to help reduce stiffness and inflammation and stimulate blood flow, which will all aid healing and recovery. Gentle massage also helps with this, which you can do yourself on your thigh muscles and your calves. If you have bad feet at the end of a race, like blisters and chafing, then clean them up, disinfect them, tape up any sore spots, and get a medical expert to do this at the race if you can. Keep damaged areas dry and covered until they heal. Rehydrate and refuel within about 2 hours of finishing. Anita says during this post-run window, your muscles are more receptive to nutrients to begin the rebuilding process. She advises a 3-to-1 ratio of carbohydrate to protein for optimum recovery, so milk is a super good option here, or coconut water for vegans and lactose intolerance. In Anita's book there are 2 really delicious looking post-run recovery options, the green recovery drink or the cherry recovery drink, which both look amazing. Give them a go. If your ultramarathon is hilly and you push yourself, especially on the downhills, then what I mentioned earlier, DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, may be unavoidable. John said it can peak at 24 to 48 hours afterwards, and I can definitely vouch for this. It makes walking downstairs really difficult, but keep moving, have a warm bath to relax the muscles and help remove the buildup of fluid and inflammation that's causing the soreness. Anita also says that cherry juice may also help here and promote sore muscle recovery, so try 30 millilitres of cherry juice concentrate for 4 to 5 days prior to your race, followed by 2 days after. After a few days, John says booking a sports massage is a great way to further promote a faster recovery, or you could use a foam roller to gently massage those sore muscles yourself. I'll be showing you the right way to foam roll later in this film. Make sure you get at least 7 to 8 hours sleep. John says this is an essential part of training, recovery and boosting our immune systems. In my experience, you might even feel like you need 10 hours a night over the next week after your race. So if you need to sleep, try to prioritise early nights if you possibly can. So a few top tips from me for better sleep: stop using bright brain stimulating iPhones an hour before bed, have a warm bath, drip a few drops of lavender essential oil on your pillow, keep your bedroom dark and cool, listen to an audiobook or read to take your mind off those whizzing daily thoughts. If you're still tired, take a 10 to 20 minute power nap at lunchtime. I used to find those really helped. Nutrition-wise, the following week, buying supplements and sports nutrition products aren't necessary, according to Anita. She says a healthy, balanced diet is all you need, with protein, carb and nutrient-rich meals. She suggests meals like turkey spaghetti bolognese, fish stew with cannellini beans, chickpea and spinach curry, and black bean chili with guacamole. She's making me hungry. And you can find these mouth-wateringly healthy recovery meals all in her book. Thanks very much to John and Anita for these great ultra recovery tips. There's a link to both of their excellent books in the film description below. Question number 2. Jonathan Croy asks, when is it useful to run with poles? Very interesting question, Jonathan. Poles come in super handy for taking some of the strain on your leg joints and muscles if you think you're going to be power hiking or walking for significant parts of a race. So this will usually be a long distance one. They're best used on wide, smooth, hard trails to propel you more speedily uphill and on the flat, or to help keep your balance when you're going downhill at a fairly quick pace or when the terrain is slippery or involves river crossings. They're not as useful for actual running, for example during really short, fast races and very steep or technical terrain. And this is why in Britain we don't have a massive culture of using poles for off-road running, because our history of fell racing is short, steep races on pathless mountain terrain, where poles can actually get stuck in tussocks or bog and actually hinder your progress. However, in Europe and America, they're more widely used because there are many more actual trails there, so smooth, wide paths where you can really power down on your poles, and tons of long endurance races, like 100-milers, where a significant number of people will be power hiking for a lot of the race. So the main brands that I've used are Compodel, Lecky, Black Diamond and Mountain King, but Alpkit, Raidlight and Camp also make them. I broke my Mountain King Trailblaze carbon poles falling through a bridge on the Cape Wrath Ultra last May, so I can't show you a pair right now, unfortunately. They are really good value for a first pair, but they did keep coming apart slightly if they got stuck in any mud, which was quite annoying after a while. So I wouldn't buy them again unless I was on a real budget, or if I was definitely sure I wasn't going to do anything muddy. Instead, take a look at Lecky's latest lightweight trail running poles in my recent New Gear film here. In buying a pair of running poles, you want to look for a light weight of around 120 to 200 gram maximum per pole. The super duper light ones usually aren't collapsible or adjustable, so consider whether you need these options. Correct pole height is when your elbow is at 90 degrees when you plant the pole in front of you on flat ground. So see my films with Compodel about choosing and using poles here. It's for walkers, but there's a lot of info that's transferable there. There's also a really good in-depth article on running pole choice by RaceKit, so check out the link to that in the film description below. And the good news is I'm going to a running poles weekend with Lecky at Glenmore Lodge in Scotland next month, so I will be telling you all about their latest lightweight poles and making a film soon about their benefits and how to use them, so keep watching. Question 3. Little Old Man Running wants to know the right way to use a foam roller, as it only seems to work for him if he does it wrong. So he didn't get back to me on how he uses a foam roller wrong, so I'm not sure how you can use it wrong unless you're using it as a cricket bat or something, but I'm going to demonstrate how I use mine to massage my leg muscles after a run. So I'll start off with both calves at the same time, and then I'll cross one leg over the other to intensify that massage on one side, and I'll go left and right to just make sure that I'm massaging the inner and the outer sides of the muscle. Then I move on to the hamstrings, again both at the same time to start, followed by crossing over one leg and intensifying that massage with one leg at a time. Then I'll move on to the glutes, same again, both at the same time. Then I'll turn left or right to intensify the massage on the left and right glutes. This can feel really good after running. Then if you want to be adventurous, then go for a whole back roll. Focusing in on the shoulder blades can also be really nice after running. Then it's over to the shins. This can be a bit painful for some people, so exercise care, just stick with both shins at the same time if you don't want too intense a stretch here. Then move on to the quad muscles at the front of the thighs, doing both legs with the other leg out to the side for balance. And then you can turn around to massage the outer thigh as well. And to intensify the stretch, then just bend the leg at the knee. But be prepared, this hurts. I hope that helps you, little old man running. Happy foam rolling the right way. Question 4. Mike Rogerson has a knee issue, an old ITB problem which flares up if he runs fast, especially downhill. And he wants to know if he should resign himself to long, slow runs or do strength training to cure it. This is a great question, Mike. So I would say it's very likely and hopeful that you can be cured, but you would have to go to a good physio to get an accurate diagnosis of what is happening right now in your body. So once you know exactly the area of weakness, you can then target it with the right strength training or whatever it needs to stop this happening. So my favourite physio is Paul Hobrough from Physio and Therapy. He's based in London and Newcastle. And if you can possibly get to see him, then it's well worth the money. If you're on a budget though, the next best thing is Paul's book, Running Free of Injuries. It sounds like you need chapter 4, which is all about the knee, with self-assessment and self-treatment suggestions for all sorts of knee pain related to ITB. There's a link to Paul's book in the description below, so I really hope that helps you, Mike. Quickfire questions. So Jeff W says he's running a pairs 50k relay. Each lap is about 15 minutes long. What should he do in the breaks to be ready for the next laps? 3 things, Jeff. 1, refuel. Eat a small snack. You don't need loads, a jelly baby or a bite of energy bar. Take a sip of water or electrolyte drink. Number 2, keep moving. Walk about, stretch so you don't stiffen up in those 15 minutes. 3, cheer everybody else on. It's all about having fun, isn't it? So support the other teams and cheer your loudest when your running buddy arrives having completed his latest lap. Have a great time, Jeff. Jason Howen asks what race vest I'd recommend for the Exodus 100 in December, as mandatory kit requires a sleeping bag but it won't fit in his Raidlight 18-litre bag. You could get a bigger bag. I've used the Raidlight Ultra Ulmo 30 litres in the past for mountain marathons and found it both roomy and comfy. However, I'd be tempted to stick with the 18-litre if you can and see if you can squeeze a smaller sleeping bag in. Can you borrow a smaller lightweight one from a friend perhaps? Conversely, Elle Evans is looking for a super breathable 3 to 4 litre pack for running in Sri Lanka. So all packs make your back sweaty, so for carrying such a small amount, could you perhaps slim it down and use a bum bag or a waist pack? In my last packs review, live on YouTube every Tuesday at 1 PM, tune in, lots of people were recommending the Naked Running Band, which has just over 2 litres capacity, holds a 500 millilitre water bottle, has 3 pockets for stashing food, sunglasses, a torch, banana, small windproof gloves, etc. So there's a link to some larger waist packs too in the film description below, so check them out too. Finally, Cameron Francie is a Scot who lives in the US now and he's been tempted back over to Blighty by my race films. Woohoo! He'd like to come and do the West Highland Way, but he can't make the race date, so he's just wondering if anybody else who watches this channel would like to join him in running it in late summer 2019. Anyone fancy it? Let me know in the comments below. You could also join the West Highland Way Race Family group on Facebook, Cameron, and ask any old timers or newbies alike if they would like to recce the route along with you. So happy running, I hope you have a great time. This week's random thing that I saw which was cool is another film that's an absolute must watch. It's called Underdog. It's by Summit Fever and it's about Damien Hall, a fellow freelance outdoor journalist who developed a bit of an obsession with the world's most popular European trail race, the UTMB, Ultra Tour de Mont Blanc. The story is about his 4th attempt at this 105-mile race after much dedicated training, juggled around his job and young family, where he attempts to get into the top 10 amongst some of the world's best mountain runners like Kilian Jornet, Jim Walmsley and Zach Miller. Here's the trailer.
My name's Damien, I'm 42. I live in the Cotswolds. I'm an outdoor journalist. I'm having a midlife crisis. That means I like to run ultramarathons and I've got a UTMB problem. So the Ultra Trail de Mont Blanc is a 105-mile circuit through the mountains. It's got 10,000 meters of climb to be top 10 at UTMB. That to me is the dream. The runners I'm against are mostly full-time. They're younger than me. Realistically, the pedigree of the other runners, it's unlikely, most people would say. So I just want to give my best effort. I do want to be in the top 10. There are lots of things against me, but it gives me an underdog spirit.
Wow, what an incredible film. And I won't spoil the ending for you if you haven't already seen how Damien got on in one of my earlier Q&As here. The film has been entered into Kendal Mountain Film Festival, which runs from the 15th to the 18th of November. So if it's successful, it'll be showing there, and then online later in November. It's definitely one to watch out for. It's question time. Last week I asked you what's your favourite post-race treat. Well, we have a really delicious sounding breakfast of scrambled eggs with spinach on crumpets with pumpkin seeds and nuts sprinkled over the top, and that's from Sean Davies. That sounds delicious, Sean. Followed by a pint of Guinness from Kurt Steege. Possibly not one to enjoy at the same time, but hey, you never know. So my question for you this week is, while we wait for the fantastic Underdog film to come out, what is your favourite running film of all time? Type your answers in the YouTube comments below and I'll read out the best one in next week's Q&A. If you've got any more trail or ultra running questions for my fortnightly Q&A films, then also type them below, and subscribe if you haven't already and click the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new trail running videos. Thank you for watching, enjoy your next run, and I will see you on the trails.